We got a very, very, very special edition of To The Moon today. We just recorded our first episode of To The Moon, so a little hand clap, And so we wanted to try to bring you guys in for the experience so that you kind of get an idea of the kind of content we're going to be bringing. Just so you can kind of get a feel for us, we get a feel for y'all. So what we're going to do here for the next couple of minutes, if you have questions, if you have feedback, definitely drop it in the comments below, and we'll like to answer some of those questions. But in the meantime, we're just kind of gonna talk, and we're gonna let you chime in whenever y'all chime in. Right now, we were just discussing Apple, the stock Apple, and we're just kind of discussing when exactly would be a good time to get in on Apple, right? Because currently it's at an all-time high. If you've been following my page, I kind of been pushing, get the Apple now, get the Apple now. So we're just gonna continue that dialogue. And as we were just kind of mentioning, with Apple, right, because we kind of believe in Apple and we believe in the trajectory of Apple, you can utilize a piece that we call dollar cost averaging, right? And in short, all it really is you consistently are buying a share of a company or fractional shares of a company as time goes on. And this is really a strategy we see with like long-term investing. And again, tying this back to Apple isn't going anywhere. So think about it like this: 10 years from now, Apple could be worth $400 or $500. Currently today, it's at around $150. So if you were to buy it today while it's at the all-time high, which is maybe something you traditionally wouldn't want to do if you're having like a shorter term investment plan, right? But again, if we're looking long term, buy it now, right? And hold it, right? And continue to buy it, because 10 years from now, all that gains, right? Them all your gains, right? And so you're able to benefit of the fact that Apple, they're a great company. You know that Apple's going to continue to grow over time. You know that they're going to continue to have great products over time, and you can benefit from that right away, as opposed to kind of playing it by ear. So, so that's like one tip. You know what I mean? Any other ideas or
No, I was looking at Nike and Apple. I was like, man, I was thinking about buying them, and I was like, man, they both at all-time highs, man. Right. The only way they got to go was down. I said, man, I'm gonna ask Trav about this.
Right. So I always say it always is going to go back to whatever that initial plan was, right? If your plan was to long-term invest, dollar cost averaging, just keep buying it over time and hold it. If you kind of in the game to maybe be a little riskier, you looking to gamble a little bit, definitely stay away from all-time highs. I don't care if like your pastor tells you to do it now. If it's at an all-time high, you need to wait.
I heard from G.
Yeah. You need to wait. You need to wait, because all-time highs, they're cute to look at, but if you buying in at that time, like Jamal just said, there's a greater chance that it's gonna fall back, right? And if you panic because you see that fall back, then you're putting yourself in a losing situation. Absolutely. So that's just some tips about Apple. Now we do have the real estate guru.
That's right, real estate is my hustle.
Again, that's the To The Moon Realtor. So if you got a real estate question, a real estate inquiry, please reach out to Ms.
I'm here to ask
Brittany
any questions that you guys may have.
Blackman, of course. And I know today was your day, so you already posted a nugget.
I did.
Can you maybe talk about the nugget a little bit, expand on that?
So I don't know how many of our viewers are in the market to buy a home, or maybe are in the process under contract already. And that's more or less what I was talking about, is that it's such a competitive market right now, right?
For sure.
We were talking about on our podcast, interest rates are at an all-time low, which means the inventory is at an all-time low, because a lot of people are able to get in now when they want to get in when the interest rates are low, because that just makes most sense. Also, because we're coming out of the pandemic, FHA and WIDA are going above and beyond to give people the opportunity to become first-time, homeowners. And that does make a unique situation, because there are so many people, pulling at the same target, so to say, trying to get it, right? you have to become more attractive than everyone else. And so that's what I was talking about today.
Yeah,
how can you make your offer as attractive as possible? I'll tell you one way is you get me as your realtor, and if I'm not available, you get my sister Brianna Bowman as your realtor, because we are the best realtors in Milwaukee. Absolutely. Shouting her out, Geneva Bird. Yes, any of us three, we can help you guys get in, closed, clean, no problems. But you want to have a skilled realtor on your team, because there's different things that you can do to make your offer more, a little bit more lucrative, so to say, right? So I'm sure everybody knows that people are bidding $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over the asking price. That's just one way, right? Sometimes, you closing costs. We know people are waiving an inspection, waiving appraisal. If you do that, and again, that's not something that you should take lightly. Absolutely, you can do it, but you need to, again, have a skilled realtor to give you the right aspects to be doing that in, so to say, right? You want a house that has a brand new water heater, a brand new furnace, the roof has just been put on. Well, if all those big key items have been done, I really don't need an inspection, right? Because those are the bigger things, but you have to be educated enough to know that, which means you, one, have to start by choosing the best real estate professional that can get you what you're looking for, but then also make sure that they're well-versed in the industry, which is why I'm telling you, you want to get me or Brianna to, what they say, you always shout out. Absolutely. We're a team here. So, but no, seriously, it is all about having the right realtor, because those offers make a difference. People say, how do you guys keep getting offers? What are you doing? Not only do we bid over, but in any way that we can, we make the offer look as presentable as possible. And if you're someone that's been planning to buy a home for a long time, you can get really far in your pre-approval process, so that when we're offering that pre-approval, this is not a contingent pre-approval. This is solid, okay? Which means we can close a little bit faster. Now I'm talking about 20 to 30 day close versus 45 to 60.
And
those things make a difference, especially if someone's selling their home to buy another home and they need that money.
Right. Yeah, those things absolutely matter. So yeah, appreciate you for giving that nugget. Y'all definitely don't let it go over your head. Reach out to sis. She can definitely help you out on your journey. One thing you said there that was kind of just, important that it struck a chord with me is teamwork, right?
Absolutely.
You gotta have a right team, right? I know the goal is to become financially free. The goal is to create generational wealth. You can accomplish those things, but it's easier to do it when you have a team, right? Utilizing your resources, utilizing this podcast, again, To the Moon was created to be an informational source, you know what I mean? We want to be able to give you information that maybe you're not getting, or maybe it's a little harder to get to. So, utilize the group, utilize the people in the group, so, that we can, see each other or help each other get to that goal and get to that place. So we also have Mr. Jamal Washington with all kinds of banking experience. If you've been following the group, you've seen him on or heard, you saw some of his content for Financial Friday. So if you don't mind, Mr. Jamal, if you could maybe
Can I say bucks and six. Bucks and six. I'm gonna say bucks and six.
I just want you guys to know, the whole recording he's been saying bucks and six, bucks and six. So
Bucks is definitely a 6. They did that.
Most def.
They definitely did that. Man, so shout out to the Bucks, man. They brought it home for
the meal.
For the city. So yeah, I'm gonna give you the
And
floor.
that's gonna bring a lot of money to the city, if you guys didn't know.
Is.
It's a good time to buy into Milwaukee.
A lot of money already been flooding, man. The Bucks they've been printing money the way they've been getting.
No, the way they've been getting it. But yeah, if you could, Mr. Jamal, you don't have to go too detailed, but if you could just kind of, introduce yourself and kind of just share maybe a nugget or two with the fine people in the community, just about banking.
Well, I'm Jamal Washington. I've been in the banking industry for 20-some years. Started off in collections, then worked my way to team lead, then I was in the real estate team lead. Then I was underwriting, did some loan closing.
Seen it all.
First-time home buyer education. I've done some everything in banking. Then I last was in the CRA role. I worked with nonprofits and local community organizations to make sure we're offering financial opportunities to low to moderate income communities and individuals, whether that's financial literacy or helping them get down payment assistance for their mortgages, anything that help the community out. And you know, I did do that for the whole state. So you learn so much, and you will see so much, and the obstacles we have. Yeah. That's why I'm so grateful for this podcast. Yeah. Of getting that information out there. Yeah. That you sharing what you know. Yeah. And it's gonna help so many people. Yeah. Because you know, we talk about banking. Everybody gets, you know, I put my money in my account. I get direct deposit. I'm good. But what is your account doing for you? Because the bank is using your money to work for them. So you have to make that money work for you too. Utilize the banks for your advantage, whether that's getting your mortgage, talking to your banker about whatever's going on. But utilize it so that it's not just working for them. I put a point on there about how average savings account got like 0.01% interest. But a mortgage is at 3% interest right now. 2.34, 2.3, 2.5, you got great credit. Average personal loan is at 9%. Average car loan is at 5%. Wow. So you have all those, that's how much money they making. If you have this a savings account, you get 0.01. So they make 100, 500 times how much money you bringing in to them. So it's great to have a savings account, but like we were talking about earlier, diversifying. Having you investment accounts, having you some stocks, having you some real estate so that you can make the most for you. But it was one thing we talked about on the podcast today I thought was great. And it wasn't even about finances. To be honest, it wasn't even about finances. It was about our mindsets. Because you know, they talk about the poverty mindset and all these mindsets, but we put so many limitations on ourselves. That's a fact. And we don't even recognize it. That's a fact. Then because we have these limitations on ourselves, we place it upon other people. Like, I ain't ever had nothing. You remember on 5 Heartbeats when the daddy said, I ain't Essie, you ain't gonna be Essie. But then he gonna say, I want him to be better than me. How he gonna be better than you? You just told him he ain't gonna be nothing. But we put these limits on ourselves. So it's time for us to take those limits off of ourselves so that we can achieve everything. We say, I love the Lord, I serve God, I go to church, I pay my tithes. Ain't no limits on God, but then you put the limits on yourself. And it becomes so subliminal that subconsciously you say already, I'm gonna turn this podcast off because that ain't for me because you know I ain't gonna never get that. But when you have to change your mind to say, you know what, that could be me. I could be that person. I could be that homeowner. I could be that person making thousands of dollars in the real estate market. I could be a millionaire. So it's about flipping that mindset that you know, and that means so much. Because when Brittany was talking about her mother, about this what she deposited in her, not the money she deposited in her, but the knowledge she deposited in her, the education she deposited in her. That broke chains and that took the limits off of her mind. Because sometimes educational system, they'll put the limits on you as a black man, as a black woman. I don't mean to go to the race point, but you know, it happens where I remember I was coming up, I'm gonna be telling my age a little bit here. The best thing a black person could be was a doctor or a lawyer. That was it. That was your ceiling.
Or a basketball player.
Something like that. Something like that.
They weren't even making that much money back then. You know, they was making a lot more money we was making, but if you were a doctor or a lawyer, that's the best you could be. But now there's no limits. And then you have to look at just your educational system. You can go online, you can turn to the podcast. You can have mentors that help you become everything you can be. So I love when we talked about that.
Absolutely.
It was definitely a very, very, very good podcast, very, very informative. And like you say, my prayer is that, you know, it does begin to like take the limits off of just the way we think or the way that we consider like our finances. If, you know, you're a person that's like, I'm new to investing, I don't know nothing about investing, this podcast is for you. Like, you know, we want to position the information, one, that is actionable, but two, that, like Jamal said, that you believe that you can do it, right? It's not, you know, something that we, you know, want to just kind of talk about and not see you win. Like, these are things that you can do right away. And so, I'm thankful that you guys, you know, took time out of y'all busy days to, you know, share, consistently share, and to do the podcast. I'm excited, and you guys be excited for the content that's going to come out, you know, very, very, very soon. Very, very, very soon.
Yes, I'm excited. I cannot wait. We gave some excellent tips, and I just believe knowledge is power, 100%. Like Travis said, even if you feel like, oh, this may not be for you. You know, right now I'm not ready to buy a home, but in the future you may be.
Right.
Right now I'm not ready to go into stocks. In the future you may be. Right now I don't have a bank account. I just, you know, have a prepaid card where my check goes on there. Well, okay. In the future you will maybe. And in that point you want to be knowledgeable. If for nothing else, watch the podcast just to get some good information, so you know what's going on. I always like to be in the know. Right. That's a fact. I don't like to be in the dark. I want to know exactly what's going on. I constantly am reading and just learning new things. I always am eager to meet people and just kind of switch our stories and hear their backgrounds, because you're never too old to learn.
And it takes a village. Like, you know, we say that about raising children, but it, you know, for your finances as well, it's gonna, you know, take a village, right? There's tips that like I didn't know about banking or real estate, and you know, I kind of come from that a little bit, but there's all, like, you never want to be, you know, too big to learn more, you know what I mean? And that's, you know, again, the very, very, very basic core of the show is that we want to be able to give you nuggets, we want to be able to share information, and to see it, you know, see more people win, see more people collaborating and coming together. So that's what our goal is, and that's why we're here. We need you to be sure to follow us on Facebook,
subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram, and follow us on YouTube at To the Moon.
To the Moon, no limits.
To the Moon.
No limits at all. Any final thoughts y'all want to share before we get out of here for the day?
Absolutely. If you're looking for a home, please contact me, Brittany Blackman.
That's a fact. Anything for you, Jamal?
To the moon. If you're going to the moon, that means you got to take the limits off.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And for me, I just want you guys to be safe, be smart, and be dangerous. Always remember collaboration over competition. And again, we thank y'all for your time. We thank you for your time, and continue to expect great things from us. All right, y'all be good out there. Be blessed. Have a good night. To the moon, baby.
To the moon.